Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 17 preview between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Packers. Now that Aaron Rodgers is back in the fold for the Green Bay Packers, I believe they can utilize his athleticism to generate a big play in the passing game for Jordy Nelson versus the Chicago Bears in defeating that cover two. One way you can defeat the cover two is by flooding the zone. We're going to run a weak side zone passing play, and I think they can have some success getting this done. So what we're going to do here, strong left, tight end, and two wide receivers on the left side. So what we're going to do, we're going to have the wide receiver who's off the line of scrimmage. He's going to run 12-yard curl route, and we're going to have the tight end show fake, block first, and then run out. So you have your curl out combination on the backside. Now we're going to bring Jordy Nelson in the slot, and we're going to bring him in motion. And once he gets to the outside leg of the center, that's when you want to snap the football. And we're going to run the fake right here to Eddie Lacy, the fake inside zone, weak side zone. And his job is to leak through the line of scrimmage and out into the flat. Now versus zone, he's going to settle down right here and be the third option for Aaron Rodgers. Versus man, he's going to keep running toward the sideline and almost a chase route type of situation, because we're going to send Jordy Nelson in motion, like we said, snap of the football. He's running, showing the speed out. Why? Because we have James Jones as well on this side. He's running a 15-yard curl route, and this is actually the first option. So Aaron Rodgers will show fake and waggle out a little bit. First option here, if it's open, he can drill that right away with accuracy. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But as we have Jordy Nelson running the speed out, depending on how the corner plays, he's going to turn it up. And this is your second option. So now you have the potential of having Jordy Nelson either on a safety or on a corner. Either way, one of these two guys will be open, and I think that's where the athleticism comes into play, because now you're going to have a cornerback trying to make sure he doesn't get outflanked by Aaron Rodgers, and the linebacker is going to crash down. So I think one or two of these guys will have the potential for a big play this week versus Chicago. You want to flood that zone. I think if they run this particular play weak side, they can have a lot of success versus the Bears. It's imperative this week, in order to get into the playoffs, the Chicago Bears stop the run of the Green Bay Packers. And I'm going to show you how, in obvious running situations, they can do a great job in stunting up front to make sure they stop the running game this week. So I'm going to show you how they can get this done. This is a 4-3 pro version of a 4-3, college version of a 4-3. KC stack, Kansas City stack, the old Hank Stram stack defense, where you have the linebacker stacked behind defensive lineman, and we put a defensive tackle over the center. So what we're going to do here is shows cover 2, but it's really cover 0, and we're doubling the X wide receiver. So these two guys' responsibility is to double this wide receiver, and we're really focusing on the box. I'm going to show you how we can get pressure up front with dog blitzers, as well as getting creative with a double B gap pressure. So what we're going to do here, we're going to send this defensive end on the weak side, crashing down in the B gap. And now what we have here, we're going to have the nose tackle get a punch and loop around as well into the B gap. So you're getting double B gap pressure. Again, trying to play contain, trying to box everything in and cause a mosh posh at the line of scrimmage. Now, what we're going to do strong side, what we have, we're going to have the strong safety. His job is manned up on the tight end. So he's going to walk close as if he's going to blitz, but he's manning up on the tight end. Now, if this tight end is staying in and blocking or trying to reach his defensive end, then the strong safety has the freedom to go, because we're also sending the defensive end on the outside contain. So you see how we're trying to get aggressive versus the run. We're sending pressure on the outside, and we're also sending pressure weak side in this B gap. Now what we're going to have with this defensive tackle, his job is crashing in. You have the outside backer shoot the C gap, and if this running back stays in and blocks, then he has freedom to go. If he leaks out, it's his responsibility. What we have here with the middle backer, his job right now as that Mike backer is to spy the weak side back. Again, if he flares out, it's his responsibility. If he stays in and block, he's also a free blitzer. So now you see we have the strong safety, the backer, the middle backer. The outside backer's job is to come around and protect and contain on the outside. So you see where we have guys manned up on the backs, we were manned up on the tight end, and we're doubling the X, and we're manned up on the corners. Cover 0, pre-snap cover 2, but it was really a good run blitz or run stunt. Now if they can stop the run, it's going to put the Packers in obvious passing situations, and that right there plays right to the hands of the Chicago Bears with Julius Peppers. So again, this is for obvious running situations. It's more of a run stunt or a run blitz. If they can do that, they can have a lot of success versus Green Bay. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Green Bay, you want to play the quick game. I think they may go with more condensed sets to try to get that football out of the hands of Aaron Rodgers quickly and force Chicago to make plays consistently in space. And I would also suggest that they have to win in the trenches defensively. They have to be the first to stop the run. If they can stop the run and put this game all on the shoulders of Jay Cutler, they can have some success, and you want to make them earn it. And that's by playing great special teams. No big plays given up in that department, no bust in the secondary, no giving up big plays deep down the field, doing your assignment, doing your job, staying disciplined. You want to make Chicago earn every point they're going to get in this ball game. And for Chicago in this ball game, they're going to have to play great situational football on offense. Jay Cutler has to understand it's okay to throw the football away. It's okay to punt the football. It's okay to check out of a pass and into a run. Understand the situation, and you can knock off Green Bay. And you want to be the first to establish the run. Both teams, in my opinion, are struggling to stop the run. And I think the first one to establish the run and get that ground game going will be the one to have success. You have Matt Forte in the backfield, also an excellent receiver out of the backfield. But I think you have to try to establish a running game first in order to be successful. And you want to force Aaron Rodgers off the spot. This will be his first game back from injury. You want to force him to get on the move and be athletic, and that way you can have some success. He wants to stand back there in a clean pocket and throw the football all over the field. You want to disrupt him, see how healthy that shoulder is, and by forcing him to throw on the run. Now here are some in-game adjustments that you want to watch for in this ball game. For Green Bay, do they feel comfortable enough with Aaron Rodgers back there in the pocket with 5 protectors, or will they go with max protect or utilize a healthy combination of both? Because you have to remember, this is his first game back from injury. You don't want to subject him to a lot of pressure coming from Chicago, so you may have to keep an extra guy in just to make sure he's well protected back there in the pocket. And you also want to keep an eye on how they plan to cover Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, 2 outstanding receiving targets, both of which could draw double coverage, but you want to see how situationally they plan to cover both of these wide receivers, maybe tilting coverage toward one side, bracketing another side, getting creative in how they cover the 2 outstanding options for Chicago. And you also want to keep an eye on how they work the tight ends in the passing game early. Without Jermichael Finley, I think they have to find ways to own the middle of the field with the tight end position. That's Andrew Corliss and also Ryan Taylor, and I think they're going to have a huge impact in this ball game. And for Chicago, you want to keep an eye on how they plan to expand the Packers defense, whether or not it's with formations or with personnel groupings. They do have the talent to do so. They can go with 3, 4, sometimes empty sets. They can also go double tight. They can find different ways to expand that defense and force them to cover every blade of grass. And also, how much pressure will be applied to Aaron Rodgers? You want to see very early in this ballgame if he is the Aaron Rodgers or if he's a guy that's trying to help his team get into the playoffs. So I would expect the Bears to spend that first quarter and a half to try to figure out what Aaron Rodgers has showed up to the stadium this week. And Aaron Kromer's play calling will be something you also want to keep an eye on throughout the course of the ball game. As Jay Cutler is struggling, do they scale back the passing game and lean more on Matt Forte in that ground attack, or do they try to scale back the passing game and go with more of a quick passing game instead of the deep down the field vertical passing attack that we've seen from the Bears all season long? The X factor for Green Bay is an obvious one. It's the offensive line. They have to make sure they keep Aaron Rodgers well protected in the pocket. They've done a great job in opening up holes in the running game, but pass protection will be vital this week if they want to go to the playoffs. And the X factor for Chicago will be the secondary. They may face a Packers passing game that also has Randall Cobb, that already has Jordy Nelson and James Jones. So they're going to have to bring their A game if they want to be the ones to win the NFC North and earn that playoff spot. I like Chicago in this ball game. I like the multiplicity of their weapons and what they can do to defense. I think they'll give Green Bay's defense problems. And on the defensive side of the football, you look at Aaron Rodgers' first game back on the football field in this situation, and I believe he'll take a quarter to get the rust off to get back in the game shape. So that's where I think Chicago will take advantage. I think they'll build the lead and be able to keep it throughout the game. So I like Chicago to knock off Green Bay. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Bear fan forums and Packer fan forums for always showing football game plan support.